Welcome each one of you to the Lynnwood Community Band's 2026 winter concert titled An Evening of Lyric and Legend. My name is Ron Johansson. On behalf of the Lynnwood Community Band, thank you for taking your time to join us. We're sincerely happy you are here. We also thank Pastor Ann and the staff and membership of Advent Lutheran Church for allowing the band to use their facility. We sincerely appreciate being one of your church's community partners. Just an announcement, we won't be having the jazz band with us today. However, we look forward to their next scheduled performance with us in June. Also, allow me to remind you, our audience, to turn off your electronic devices or put them on silent mode. So now, to get our concert going, let me introduce the Lynnwood Community Band under the direction of Chris Davis. Our first piece this evening, Coing's March, was composed by Richard Georg Strauss in 1906. Now, many of us hear the name Strauss and we immediately think of the Austrian Strauss family, famous for their waltz compositions and other dance music of the 1800s. Sorry, Richard Strauss is from a totally different family of German descent. Although known primarily as a composer of operas and tone poems, Richard Strauss also wrote many marches and fanfares. This evening's piece, written and dedicated to Kaiser, meaning Emperor, Wilhelm II in 1906, Coing's March generally translates as King's March and was premiered in 1907 for a palace concert in Berlin, with Strauss conducting. During the concert, the Kaiser granted Strauss an award for meritorious service to Germany for his work as both composer and conductor. The march is equally as bombastic as it is introspective. It features opening fanfares, a quiet woodwind trio section, and epic Bach-style chorale. It is often performed highlighting the trumpet section, and for our performance, you can see some of our trumpet players hiding up in the corners of the room, setting up a call and response style interaction with the rest of the band. We give you Roger Barrett's musical arrangement of Richard Strauss' Coing March. which many of you will instantly recognize, even if you don't know its name. The tune probably dates to at least the 1400s. It was collected and written down in 1906 by Cecil Sharp, who transcribed it from the playing of William Kimber. Kimber said he used to play this tune on a concertina, a small instrument related to an accordion. When he performed it, he did it many, many times for Morris dancers in the 1800s. The Morris dance isn't just one dance. Instead, it's a whole family of quick, light, but highly choreographed dances typically created and performed, even today, by English country folk wearing bright, colorful costumes. The word Morris is a corruption of the name of a Spanish dance style of Moorish culture and tradition. The Moors were primarily Muslim and exerted a strong influence on Spanish culture for nearly 800 years, ending in the late 1400s. Think of a Morris dance as a square dance gone wild, with bright ribbons, flags, sometimes clashing swords, but always with bells tied to your legs. It was the famous composer Percy Grainger who took Cecil Sharp's version of this tune and arranged it for piano in 1918. It has since been edited for wind band by Brant Carrick. Jeff Molitor is featured as our flugelhorn soloist. Performed. Mlada attempts to combine opera with ballet in 4 acts, a huge production effort. Our band will be sharing a piece from Mlada known as Procession of the Nobles. Procession of the Nobles was written to serve as the introduction to Act 2, depicting the grand entrance of princes at a festival, and it is essentially the only piece of music from this huge work that is still being played today. Rimsky-Korsakov, who said he had Paris, France in mind when he envisioned this piece, place the story of Mlada 1,000 years ago in the grand imaginary kingdom of Retra on the shores of the Baltic Sea. Then he borrowed parts of multiple ancient Russian legends and wrote them into a Wagnerian-style opera in coordination with a libretto written by Viktor Krylov. In the opera/ballet, Mlada, the heroine, doesn't speak or sing at all. Instead, she dances her story to Yaromir, the hero, and the two fall fast in love. The plot involves magic, evil spirits, and trips to the underworld, and at the climax, an entire village is submerged by an overflowing lake, and Yaromir and Mlada are seen ascending on a rainbow to finally be together in heaven. The project was first premiered at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg, Russia. We give you Rimsky-Korsakov's Procession of the Nobles, as arranged by Eric W.G. Leedson and edited for symphonic band by Van B. Ragsdale. The next piece the band will play is by the French composer Claude Debussy, who was born in 1862 and died in 1918. He completed a slow, short piece of only 39 measures called La Fille Cheveux de Lin, which, if you excuse my attempt at French, translates roughly as The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. The piece is named after a poem with the same name founded in the 1852 collection of ancient poems by the then Lecomte de Lisle. This composition is known for its musical simplicity, which was highly unusual since it deviated sharply from Debussy's normal style at the time. Completed in January 1910, it was published 3 months later and premiered in June of that year. The prelude is one of Debussy's most recorded pieces, both in its original version and in subsequent arrangements. While Debussy only completed one composition during his lifetime using that newfangled instrument of the 20th century, the saxophone, this arrangement and many other arrangements of Debussy's work now include prominent saxophone parts. The saxophone just seems to fit with the orchestrations Debussy used in many of his compositions. The alto saxophone solo in this arrangement will be played by Holly Hansen. We give you The Girl with the Flaxen Hair.
I just have one thing to talk about the soloist that's going to be performing tonight. As a community band, many people come and go. Sometimes they stick with us for a year, sometimes they're with us for 10 years. Holly has been an anchor in our saxophone section for, 13 years. And this will be her last performance with us. She's moving to the East Coast, and I can't blame her. Well, okay, maybe. All right. But she'll be leaving us, and this is her last concert, so we wanted to highlight a performance with her as the soloist. So to Holly, thank you very much for stopping by.
Gordon Jacob, born 1895 in London, England, became a musical composer and professor at London's Royal College of Music in 1924. He continued to teach there until his retirement in 1966. As a composer, Gordon was prolific. He is credited with more than 700 compositions, mostly his own, but a substantial minority of his pieces are orchestrations and arrangements of other composers' works. For example, Jacob's first major success was written during his student years in 1923. It was the William Byrd Suite for orchestra based on the Fitzwilliam Virginal book. Okay, using a phrase such as the Fitzwilliam Virginal book probably takes a little explanation. First of all, and most importantly, virginal in this context has nothing to do with ancient European sexual practices. Instead, virginals are musical instruments, a keyboard instrument, one of the many predecessors of today's pianos in the early harpsichord line of evolution. Compared to a modern piano of about 8 octaves of keys, virginals had a small, compact keyboard with about 4 octaves of keys. So the keyboard would be smaller in size, similar to an electronic keyboard that might be used in a rock and roll band today. Because the keyboard was smaller, it was also easier for children to play. Similar to today's pianos, the mechanism inside a virginal contains strung wires. However, a major difference is that the virginal's keys cause the wire strings to be plucked, not hammered as with a current piano. This difference produces a sound that is always soft, sweet, and relaxing no matter how hard or how soft you press on the keys. It was often considered a musical instrument for the feminine side of the family. As one writer in the 1600s suggested, it was called a virginal because it sounds with a gentle, soft voice, likened to a younger girl. Ah, the legends of wealthy English households. The Fitzwilliam Virginal book is a manuscript of 298 pieces of keyboard music dating from approximately 1562 to 1612, which means they were all written shortly after the 1546 death of Martin Luther. Viscount Fitzwilliams and his staff collected current compositions of the time from many famous composers such as John Bull, Peter Phillips, Thomas Tallis, and of course, William Byrd. In fact, Fitzwilliam's collection included around 75 pieces of William Byrd, a major composer of the time, which makes up about 25% of the songs in the entire book. Gordon Jacob, remember this is about Gordon Jacob, Gordon Jacob took 6 of William Byrd's songs from the Virginal book and created a musical collection or suite by adding modern instrumentation and his own stylings to Byrd's keyboard compositions. The band will be playing 4 of those 6 songs as movements. They include the first movement, Earl of Oxford March, the third movement, John, Come Kiss Me Now, the 5th movement, Wolsey's Wild, and of course the final 6th movement, The Bells. Please enjoy Gordon Jacob's stylings of 4 of William Byrd's compositions from the Fitzwilliam Virginal book. One of our clarinet players, Xavier Wilkening-Jolie, will be the band's conductor for the next two pieces. As he takes the baton, I'll introduce you to our next piece. In the far north of Ireland, right on the Atlantic Ocean, there is a county like Snohomish County, King County, that type of thing, but a county is called Londonderry. The location of its local government is the town of Derry, and just a few miles to the east of there is a small market village called Lynnwood. I've mentioned several times over these concerts that in the mid-1800s and the early 1900s, there were many people who traveled to small towns such as this throughout the British Isles, gathering old tunes and songs, writing them down, and many of them eventually became parts of major musical compositions. One of those pieces was found in this way around 1850 in the small town of Lynnwood. The tune was actually found by two different people in two different villages at about the same time. One tune was recorded as being a waltz in 3/4 time. The other was recorded as being in common time or 4/4 time. And thus the confusion began. There were two pieces of music published that were exactly the same, essentially, but they had different names. Eventually, the two songs resolved their differences, but each retained its original title. To this day, the version from the town of Lynnwood is considered as having been the first to be discovered. Only problem was that the discoverer didn't ask for the name of the tune, so it got a rather general title of Irish Tune from County Derry. The second version is still called Londonderry Air. And then to really confuse things, in 1910, an English lawyer wrote words for the tune and titled the resulting new song, Danny Boy. The music on our band's music stands is titled Irish Tune from County Derry, so that's how it is in the program. But I guess you can still think of the piece by any of its three names, or all of them if you wish. We give you Irish Tune from County Derry as arranged by Percy Granger. Shepherd's Hay is another piece by Percy Grainger from the early 1900s. Like Country Gardens, the second piece we performed this evening, this is also an English folk dance tune for Morris dancers. You may remember that I said earlier about Morris dancers, they're usually English country folk influenced by a Spanish dance style of Moorish or Muslim cultural origin with bright costumes and bells tied to their legs. The next piece we play came from the division of Morris dance called a handkerchief dance. The dance was still a Morris dance, but the dancers in this group waved large handkerchiefs in their hands rather than small flags. The word hay, H-E-Y, in the title refers to a specific Morris dance figure involving the weaving or threading of dancers between one another. During the dance, the leader would call out, "Hey," and everyone moved into the new formation. Unlike Country Gardens, which Percy Grainger eventually grew to hate, he arranged this piece for multiple ensembles, including full orchestra, wind band, chamber ensembles, ensuring its lasting popularity in the concert repertoire. Many composers are rather funny sometimes in which pieces they still like years after they were composed and which pieces they don't. The alto saxophone solo will be played by Mike Tupin. We give you Shepherd's Hay as arranged for band by Percy Grainger. For your conducting. At this time in our concert, Chris Davis would like to make a few comments.
It always impresses me when you get a group of people, how many talented people. The whole group is talented, first of all. But when people step up and they want to try something, do something, experiment, get up in front of all these people and conduct and do a great job. Another round for Xavier. That was well done. A group like this can't exist on its own. There's a group of people that sit behind me that actually do all the work. I just get to stand up and take a lot of the credit. The board of directors, would you raise your hand? I always say it's a coup. It's all clarinets and trumpets. Did you notice that? One percussionist, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Without those folks, none of this could happen. They're the organizers. They're the ones who get here and set up, and tomorrow we'll organize a teardown so that our concert hall can become a church sanctuary again. We also have to thank the congregation of Anvet Lutheran Church and Pastor Ann Lorman. I didn't see her. Is she here? I didn't see her. Without them, we wouldn't have a place to rehearse, and we wouldn't have a place to have our concerts. So without them, we just thank them immensely for the use of their facility. A shout out also, again, it was in the program, but I always like to do it live, is Bryant Williams and Joel Jewett, who are running our sound and our live stream. Thank you. The voice of the Lynnwood Community Band, Ron Johansson. Thank you, Ron. And then, of course, you for turning out, all right? It's great. I almost didn't want to come. I'm a huge Mariner fan, and it's game 2, and I haven't looked at my phone. Don't spoil it, all right? So I'm gonna, but thank you for coming out. It's it makes it all worth. You know, we work 3 months out of for each concert that we do, and we love to perform in front of an audience, and so we really appreciate you turning out. Do I have anything? Oh, next concert. Next concert's going to have a Western theme to it. That is in June 19th, right here. And yeah, it's going to be a bunch of Western-themed pieces of music, so that should be a lot of fun. We also have coming up in July, we take our tour. This will be our 2nd annual tour. We're going to Leavenworth for the weekend. So if you want to travel to Leavenworth in July, we decided to do a little earlier, so there's no forest fires and smoke this year. And then, of course, the Ballard Locks in August. So that's going to round out our what we call our concert season. But thank you for coming out tonight. They worked really hard on this, what we call our serious music. And again, thank you.
Our next piece, English Folk Song Suite, is one of the English composer Ralph Vaughan Williams' most famous works. It was first published for the military band as Folk Song Suite, and its premiere was given on July 4th of 1923. The suite uses the melodies of 9 English folk songs, 6 of which were drawn from the 3,500 song collection of English folk music collector Vaughan Williams and Vaughan Williams' friend, Cecil Sharp. English Folk Song Suite consists of 3 movements: a march called 17 Come Sunday, and intermezzo, which is subtitled My Bonnie Boy, and the final movement, which is another march based on 4 of Cecil Sharp's tunes, folk songs from Somerset. In our performance tonight, you will hear a solo trumpet played at various times in all 3 movements. Stephen Oshnerut is our featured performer. In the second movement, oboist Alicia Oshnerut, Stephen's wife, will join him in a trumpet-oboe duet. A trumpet-oboe duet isn't common in orchestra or concert band music, The trumpet and oboe come from totally different families of instruments, which are usually used for totally different effects in Western music. And mixing the two often doesn't work very well. It's sort of like trying to mix fire with water, but it fits this piece wonderfully. We hope we'll enjoy English Folk Song Suite, arranged by Ralph Vaughan Williams. Our final piece this evening is a popular choice for concert bands called American Civil War Fantasy. The medley of both Northern and Southern Civil War era tunes includes Listen to the Mockingbird, Dixieland, Camptown Races, John Brown's Body, Dixie, Battle Cry of Freedom, Maryland, My Maryland, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, Just Before the Battle Mother, Marching Through Georgia, The Yellow Rose of Texas, and of course the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Each of the 12 tunes is a memorable melody from the mid-1800s in the United States. Some of the melodies go by quickly, just a few measures, just long enough for you to recognize it. Others are played more fully. But each tune has one or more of the many legends of the Civil War attached to it, so you can be sure different people would have enjoyed different tunes from this collection. So why would any composer attempt to cram so many tunes and fragments of tunes into one relatively short piece? Well, that is where this collection of legends from the Civil War runs smack into another American legend, college football. Jerry Billick composed the American Civil War Fantasy in 1961 for a halftime show presented by the University of Michigan Marching Band under the direction of William Ravelli. The marching band played the music while it made various formations on the football field that represented some of the subjects of many of these tunes. For the finale, the production concluded with a small army of supporting performers who unrolled an American flag 300 feet long and 150 feet wide that covered the entire football field, including the entire marching band. The show was so highly regarded, the music was adjusted to fit the concert stage. We can't roll out a 300-foot flag here. It was adjusted to fit the concert stage and has since become a classic of the symphonic band repertoire. We give you American Civil War Fantasy as arranged for concert band by its composer, Jerry Billick.
I just want to say one last thing. Thank you again for turning out. Please come to our next concert. You will have noticed that the concert had a very English, Northern European theme to it. And this one piece is kind of out of character with the rest of the theme of the concert. I picked this because at any time in American history, we always think we're in the worst time. We're in the time that has the conflict. We're in the time that has the wars. And I wanted to remind us that that wasn't always the case. We're a country founded in conflict. We've always had conflict. But the one thing that's always happened at the end is that we come together as Americans. And I wanted to remind us of that in this piece of music, that no matter what the times, no matter what the conflicts or the issues that we have amongst us, the one thing that we do have in common is that we are Americans. And I wanted to remind us of that.